A scientist named Simon sings loudly while working in his laboratory. As he is in the process of developing an invention, a brilliant light unexpectedly appears behind him. Simon immediately pulls a firearm from his desk, but an individual on the opposite side of the light shoots first. The bullet strikes Simon directly, causing him to fall as his laboratory is consumed by flames. The setting changes to a celebration hosted by a powerful mobster named Sosa, marking his son Jimmy Boy's release from a 6-year prison sentence. During his address to the guests, Sosa declares the evening a time for joy, but notes that the informant responsible for his son's imprisonment is among them and will soon face consequences. A man named Mike attends the gathering, while another man named Nick observes him intently. Nick's wife, Alice, approaches to ask if he plans to attend the various after-parties, but Nick declines. Alice decides to go out with her friends instead, and as she departs, she exchanges a look with Mike. Mike arrives at a hotel with flowers and champagne, expecting Alice, but is surprised by a knock from Nick. Despite Alice's warning that Nick intends to kill him, Mike opens the door. Nick, appearing hungry, suggests they go to a nearby coffee shop because he requires Mike's assistance for a difficult task that night. Mike attempts to explain that he is retiring from the criminal organization and its violence, but Nick insists he perform one final favor. When Nick produces a gun, Mike tells him to go ahead and kill him, but Nick simply hands the weapon to Mike, who refuses to take it. After instructing Alice to wait at the hotel, the two men drive to Nick's residence. Nick provides Mike with chloroform and a cloth, explaining the plan to incapacitate whoever answers the door. Nick cannot do it himself because his presence would cause the occupant to panic. When Mike rings the bell, he is shocked to see Nick himself walk out, but he proceeds to press the cloth to the man's face. The expired chloroform fails to work, leading to a violent struggle inside the house. Mike eventually knocks the resident Nick unconscious with a trophy. When the first Nick joins him, Mike is baffled to learn that the man he just fought is actually Nick himself. They quickly tidy the home before Sosa arrives. Mike hides in the bathroom and eventually the shower to avoid being seen by the mob boss. Sosa informs Nick that he has hired an assassin known as the Baron to eliminate the informant, who he reveals is Mike. Learning he has been marked for death, Mike secretly warns Alice to flee the hotel. Once Sosa leaves, Nick admits to Mike that he has been framed and reveals he is actually from a future where Mike dies this evening. He has returned to ensure Mike survives. Nick explains that 6 months into the future, he utilized a time machine built by Simon. Alice had originally sought Simon's help to leave Nick safely after discovering his infidelity and criminal cruelty, but Simon instead used money borrowed from Nick to fund his machine. When Nick eventually found the device, he chose to return to the night Mike died, though he accidentally destroyed the machine and killed Simon during his arrival.
The two men track down the present Nick, who has stolen future Nick's car and is currently arguing with a shopkeeper over sugar-free candy. Before the police can intervene, Mike and future Nick ambush and kidnap present Nick. As they drive, future Nick warns that the Baron is a cannibalistic killer. They arrange to meet Alice at a parking garage. Alice, already briefed by Simon in the past about his project, immediately realizes she is looking at two versions of her husband. Present Nick then reveals he framed Mike because he discovered Mike and Alice were having an affair. The group retreats to Nick's secret apartment, where Alice is enraged to discover his hidden life. Future Nick explains that he cannot harm his past self without dying as well. He reveals the true reason for his return. In the original timeline, Alice was pregnant and had to raise Mike's child alone after his death. Future Nick plans to intercept the Baron in the garage while the others stay safe. However, when an individual arrives, present Nick betrays the group by telling the newcomer they plan to kill him. The man shoots Mike dead, but Mike soon stands back up. The killer was actually a special effects artist hired by future Nick to test present Nick's loyalty. The real Baron eventually arrives and is promptly shot by future Nick. After Mike and Alice survive an attack by the Baron's associates, the group decides their only path to safety is to eliminate Sosa's entire organization during the party. With the help of Officer Sam, who plants weapons and explosives for them, the two Nicks and Mike launch a full-scale assault on the gathering. In the final confrontation, Jimmy Boy is incapacitated after falling downstairs, and Sosa takes Alice hostage. Future Nick offers his own life to save the others, but Sosa targets Mike. In the ensuing chaos, Alice kills Sosa. As a wounded Jimmy Boy fires one last shot at Mike and Alice, Present Nick sacrifices himself by stepping in front of the bullet. Because Present Nick dies from his injuries, Future Nick fades out of existence. Though Mike and Alice are left grieving, Alice remembers that Simon built a second time machine, offering them a chance to go back and fix the timeline once more. And that is how the movie comes to an end. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more videos like this.